Good morning. Welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 13th of August. Apologies, my throat's a bit croaky this morning. Right, let's get on and have a quick look. First things first, let's just have a quick look at the yesterday's data there. And this was the sort of big mover in the markets for now, at least in terms of the inflation data. It Now, if you go back and look at the history of this data, it has been coming up and is still coming up in terms of inflation. However, not necessarily at the speed that some may have expected. And in fact, the year-on-year figure coming in at 2.7 versus 2.8 gave traders the idea that interest rates may start getting cut in September. I think that was pretty much, even before we saw the data, was the general view. So I do wonder if we'll gradually see things go back to normal, but what was normal? Right, okay, today we haven't got a great deal. We have got Trump speaking this afternoon. We've already seen the wage price index for Australia, so no data there. And so that's really the only thing in front of us today. We do have the PPI tomorrow, which is another measure of inflation and might give us a bit more clue to some of the inflation that's coming through on the front end of the market. Right, I've had a look through this morning. To be fair, I'm just looking at it in the moment, and there doesn't seem to be a great deal here at the moment. As I say, arguably, I was looking at this and these markets and looking at the data and thinking about regression channels and things like this, because basically we'd pulled back here. It was looking yesterday like it was going to roll over on the likes of the euro dollar again. However, to be fair to the market, if you were looking at what was already happening, it had been putting higher lows in. It got into this ugly scene here on the 4 hours in the end of last week, and then as I say, it was starting to look soft, and then of course the news came out and it would look even on the hourlies here, it was running. Just patience and waiting for that data to come out saved me from probably a couple of trades that would have been stopped. This one here, obviously, it was setting up. It 7 o'clock, it was looking like it was going to roll and roll. It didn't go on the 8 o'clock bar, nor the 9. it could have, if I was looking to take the trigger, I could have gone short on that 10 o'clock bar, giving us a lower high and off to play it. But it was just, as I said yesterday in the trading room, you just got that higher level of risk at the moment. It's bad enough with Trump speaking, but there's a real focus on these inflation numbers, so we should stand clear sometimes and wait. So the euro dollar today, it's in a bit of a midst of things. Is it going to follow its original sort of move here? Then it looks like it. Potentially a break of the highs there would give us a new higher low, confirmed higher low, and potentially more upside back to the highs. So real swing in a day effectively, as things were looking quite soft there. Now we're back into normality. I don't know, not normal, it's just trending again. Okay, the pound always was looking better on the dailies here than the euro. It had been pushing up. It was more positive from a 4-hourly point of view. It never quite caught its weekly pivot, but it did catch the quarterly pivot there, and it's worked off of the quarterly pivot. Looking at it at the moment, though, this would have been possibly a safer trade yesterday, but again, it's all about timing sometimes and the risk of extra news. Here, though, it's sitting in a bit of nowhere land. It could be taken into the next hour for a continuation. It hasn't hit the pivot. If it continues pushing through the R1, well, maybe the R2 could be in line as well. Morning, Ravi. Morning, Paul. Side of that, then, US dollar yen. Now, from a daily point of view, here it's into its pivot. overall bigger picture to me, it still looks a bit like it's got potential to push up a bit further. The sentiment on the market there is equally slightly weaker on the dollar, Japanese dollar. Looking at what's going on here, 4-hourly messy. On the shorter time frame here, well, with the other markets that have been pushing up, this did correct yesterday. Maybe in the bigger scheme of things here, a breakdown of some of these lows here coming in the morning, coming ahead of us, could be interesting, a bit more interesting to me. It's too early at the moment in the current bar. The temptation obviously is to take it because it's got its S1 there and a good target, but at the moment I'm sitting, well, like the euro and the pound, it's not clean enough for what I'd like personally. Australian dollar, daily wise, well, it's ugly. It's such an ugly daily chart, but it has got that drift to the upside here, and we have confirmed this morning high low there. So that's, again, just really should be looking for longs then, but not from this bar. It's called the pivot, one target not that far away. Often when we get news like this and it was largely priced into the market, I do wonder at some point we'll see a correction just come back and see all these sort of moves that happened here from yesterday, whether it'll just spin around again. However, the general trend is sitting there. Canadian dollar, well, from a daily picture here, it's really not done too much over the last few days. Last week it was just had a bit of a move, but then just consolidated. We're seeing the same sort of thing at the moment. Yes, a breakdown of the pivot, the weekly pivot here, something a bit more positive, could work out fine. It really has got quite ugly with yesterday's price action there. Yesterday it did run up to its R1. It did everything it should do, so that if you had been just trading back to the R1 or continuation move, you would have seen your target hit on that. But again, post 8 o'clock we could be looking for a bit of a continuation back here, but the overall picture, as I said, it's on here, it's curved around. Oops. We've got just this sort of shape overall that it could still have further downside, so I just need something more clearer before I jump aboard on that. New Zealand dollar, I was looking for the short side of this on the dailies here, but I decided yesterday I'd wait for the news to come out first, and boy am I glad I did, because I'd have been completely stopped out. It was shaping up nicely on the dailies there originally, and it looked like it was going to carry on rolling over, but bit of patience there, and it all changed, and it's now put a higher low in and looking a little bit more positive for now. It's done everything though today, and not a trade there for me right now. Swissy, again, another market. It's like the Canadian. There's quite a number of these markets. They're just quite flattish. Here looks like it's got potential to continue to the downside. Lots of volatility there yesterday, going both ways to be fair. At 2 o'clock bar came all the way back at one stage there. It's corrected the move, but it has put lower highs in on this short-term time frame. Bigger time frame, it's a bit more of a mess, but some scope to continue down towards that S1 and maybe even further. Don't really overly like it at the moment. Euro yen, it's always when you get these sort of big moves, it's a bit of time needed to get the market to show its hand properly, rather than just chase in. So the trend here on the euro yen is still to the upside. Overall, so it's a bit clearer if something was to set up this morning into the afternoon quite like the long side. From the weekly point of view, we've hit the R1, not hit the pivot, so there's potential to run back up. That R2 looks attractive in that case if it pushes back above that area or along with those previous highs. So yeah, we'll see how things develop this morning. Okay, Euro pound I was looking at yesterday. This was had the previous day done a nice job, but it was all changed again really yesterday. We'd seen all a decent move there in the morning. It had gone quite early, unfortunately. Did get off down to its S2, but now it's, well, is it going to go turn back here again, or are we going to see a continuation of a stronger pound? We'll have to wait and see on that. It's not clear. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. It doesn't look good for a morning trade, at least at the moment. I need to see some things more defined. Might be just I need to wait an hour or so. Looking at the other markets, let's just have a look at gold. So gold yesterday not really moving very much at all. It's very consolidated. It's really not doing too much here. It's ugly. Don't like it. Don't do ugly. Oil, well, this still seems to, this is one that if you want something, it's got a reasonable trend. It's oil at the moment, lower highs, lower lows, just continued through, unaffected yesterday, obviously, by the data there. Well, could argue it's 11 o'clock, but did fire off in the afternoon eventually, but it's not the cleanest of markets. It's just a case of, for me, waiting for a continuation again today to see if I can get into an opportunity there later. Equity markets, S&Ps, obviously all-time highs again then, and it looks like it's pushing through into one this morning, or near enough. At some point this morning it has it? He says. Trying to get the cursor to go on the right bar there. 2300. Yeah, well, here we go. Yes, it did. Made new all-time highs there. The overall picture is still quite bullish on this market. It was showing signs of some weaknesses, but on the shorter time frames. But here it's really back on its bigger route at the moment. Not to be jumped in front of. The DAX was probably the best on the selling point of view earlier yesterday. The FTSE again pushing through here, still not the prettiest of overall markets. Maybe a break this morning of those prior highs there, maybe a go with as we get into 8 o'clock time. The DAX, so it really is getting a bit lost in terms of trend again. It's pretty much running sideward. Did come off, continue its move off there yesterday morning, running down, hit the S1 to hit that target, but thereafter it's well consolidated, pushed up a little bit with the rest of the markets. It's not so convincing, so poorer news. I would be looking for the DAX for the short side, maybe the S&Ps are or is the market for the long side on anything positive for equity markets. Right, I'm afraid not a great deal this morning, but that's the way it goes. It's just a bit of patience there, and see if some of these currencies will sort themselves out and give us some opportunities. I've got really at the moment, as I say, well, the euro we're just running into 8 o'clock, might get a continuation, but I never push on this too early. Need to wait until at least 8:30 before I take a trade. So there's possibilities that we'll see some moves in this. I'm not massively convinced yet though. Right, okay, I shall leave you there. Have a great day and catch you in the morning. Bye for now.